Good day, class. Before we proceed to our lesson for today, let's have first a pre-activity, which is jumbled words, which is jumbled words. The letters of the words are jumbled, so you have to figure out what the word is. Okay, let's start. What is that? What is the word? What do you think is that word? Okay, the answer is setting. Another. About this one. Uh-huh. It is a plot. How about that? Well, it is a conflict. Another. About that. Mm, characters. Yes, it is characters. How about this? Hmm? It is a point of view. The last one. Mm-hmm. It is a theme. Since we are done in the pre-activity, now let's proceed to our lesson for today. It is all about the elements of prose. Lesson objectives. At the end of our discussion, you are able to distinguish the elements of a prose, identify the elements of a prose in a particular selection. What is prose? Do you have an idea what is prose? Well, a prose refers to any written piece of work that is built on sentences and paragraphs. So, for example, a short story where it has a sentences and a paragraphs, and it does not make use of structural poetic elements such as meter or rhyme scheme, which are present in poetry. So prose and poetry, they are not the same because poetry has a metrical structure, and then prose also doesn't have a meter or rhyme scheme, which are being presented in a poetry. Another, prose has characters and a plot. It is made up of series of events which are organized in a logical way. Another example is a short story where it has the characters and a plot. The plot there has consists of series of events which are arranged or organized in a logical way. So that's it. Um, Another examples of prose are short story, novel, folktale, legend, fable, and parable. So there are six elements of a prose. Based on the pre-activity a while ago, the words being presented there are the elements of a prose, which are setting, plot, conflict, characters, point of view, theme. So setting is it is when and where does the story happened. Plot, the sequence of events in a story. So the proper sequencing or the proper arrangement of the story or the flow of action in the story. Conflict, a clash of actions, ideas, desires, or will between the characters in the story. Conflict also is the problems being presented in the story. Characters, the people or animals being involved in the story. Point of view, it indicates the perspective from which the story is told. For example, it can be told in the first person, second person, or in the third person point of view. The last one is the theme. So, the central and unifying concept of a story. It is also the central or the main idea of a story. Example: what element of a prose does the following sentences convey? Number 1. The answer is conflict because they fought over a cup of milk tea. Number 2. The answer is plot because it can be seen the proper sequencing and the arrangement of events that happen to Wilbur and Charlotte, a spider who helps to save Wilbur's life. Number 3. The three little pigs, all fat and small, decided to make their way home. So the answer is characters because three little pigs are animals and they are considered as the characters in this sentence. Number four, the answer is setting because where does Mary walk? So Mary walked in the streets of Germany. Number five, the answer is point of view because the story is being told in a first person point of view. Number six, courage and heroism is the theme. Another example in the story entitled The Lottery. The setting happened between the post office and the bank around 10 o'clock. The people gathered in the square where Mr. Summers conducted the annual lottery. Mrs. Hutchinson got the piece of paper with a black dot on it, which means that she will be the one to be stoned to death. She screamed how unfair the draw was while the people were busy throwing her stones until she died. Conflict. Mrs. Hutchinson protested on the result of the lottery. She kept on saying that it was unfair. Characters: Mr. Summers, Mrs. Hutchinson, Belle Hutchinson, Mrs. Delacroix. Point of view, third person point of view, and then the theme in the story is about cruelty and injustice. Can a prose be complete without its elements? Well, the answer is no. Yes, that's correct. Elements coming together will make up a prose. Keeping those elements together and working it out will lead to a beautiful story. Just like in life, whatever dreams you have, keep the elements that will help you to achieve it, like your studies, and work it out for it to become a reality. So, a story should have um, elements to make it beautiful and it is not boring to read. Because imagine we are reading a certain story and then it has no setting, there's no character. So what kind of story is that? No, so there should these elements embedded in a story to make the story more interesting, beautiful, and we can get the central idea of that story. Next is assessment. Directions: get one fourth sheet of paper and answer the following questions. And then for application, read the story by The Railway Side by Alice Meynell on page 202 of your English book. Then write the elements of a prose in that story. After answering, make sure to submit all your papers. And that's all. Thank you.